Two credit specialists, same service, same results, same market. One charges $500 to fix credit, the other charges $5,000 to fix credit, and clients are lining up for it. But the difference has nothing to do with their skills, nothing to do with their results, nothing to do with their experience. The only difference is who they choose to serve. The moment you understand the ICP, the right ideal client profile, you stop competing on price entirely, because the right client doesn't make the decisions based on price. They make it based on the outcome. And that changes everything about how your business gets built. My name is Lenny. I'm a financial consultant. I help people fix credit, access funding, and build the systems that actually scale income. I built a full automated credit repair business while working 12-hour shifts loading Amazon trucks at night. Not because I was special, but because I figured out who to serve before I figured out anything else. That decision changed the entire trajectory of the business. Here's what we're covering today. First, why most credit specialists unknowingly cap their own income by targeting the wrong client. Second, a side-by-side breakdown of 3 client profiles: the real estate investor, the business owner, and the general credit client. Who they are, what they actually need, and why some clients justify 10 times the price. Third, the mindset shift that allows you to charge premium prices without justifying it, without discontinuing, and without competing with anyone else in this space. Let's get straight into it. Here's what I see constantly happening in this industry. Someone learns credit repair, they get good at it, they start getting real results for clients, they go out and they market to everyone. Anyone with bad credit, anyone who needs their score fixed, anyone who saw the ad, clicked the link and got on the call. And because they're marketing to everyone, they attract people who are price shopping. Those clients don't care about your system, they don't care about your track record, they are looking for the cheapest option because to them, credit repair is a commodity. They've already seen 5 other offers, they are comparing prices, and when they get results, they don't refer you. When something doesn't go exactly right, they ask for a refund. The problem isn't your service, the problem is that you're selling the same service to people who don't have a destination for it. Price is only ever an objection when there's no urgency attached to the outcome. Think about that for a second. When someone needs something, when the outcome of getting it is worth more than you're charging, the price doesn't lead the conversation, the outcome does. So the question isn't, how do I get clients to stop objecting on price? The question is, who am I serving where the outcome is urgent enough that the price becomes secondary? The first avatar is the real estate investor. This person is already playing the game. They're not new to money, they understand leverage, they know that borrowed capital deployed correctly generates returns, and they are comfortable with that risk model. Their world runs on credit. DSCR loans, hard money, conventional financing, private lenders, every deal they're trying to do has credit requirement attached to it. And when their credit is off, or when their personal profile is too leveraged, deals fall off. Properties they've already analyzed, already committed to mentally, already negotiated, gone. Because of a credit ceiling they didn't see coming. This client's problem is not that they want better credit. Their problem is capital constraint, blocking active deal flow. They have a property they want to close, they have a timeline, they have money sitting on the line, and right now their credit is the single variable blocking the transaction. When you position yourself as the specialist who understands how credit functions in a real estate deal, who knows what a lender is actually looking at, what utilization does to a DSCR qualifier, how to structure their credit profile for specific types of financing they're after, you are no longer a credit repair service, you are a deal enabler. And a deal enabler charges based on what the deal is worth, not based on what the credit repair cost. If a fix and flip generates $80,000 in profit and their credit being off is the only thing stopping them from closing it, what is solving that credit problem actually worth to them? Not $500, not $1,000, whatever it costs to close the deal, that's the number. The second avatar is the business owner, but I need to stop right here because I need to be honest with you about something first. Just because someone has a business does not mean they have the capital to deploy. I learned this the hard way. When I was doing sales in my company, we were broadly targeting business owners. Cast a wide net, anyone with a business, anyone with an LLC, anyone running something. And I found myself on a call with a florist. Sweet person, hardworking, had a real shop, a real business, showed up to the call ready to talk. And within the first few minutes of that conversation, I realized this woman could not afford to keep her shop open until the end of the week. We were trying to sell $1,500 credit repair. She couldn't even afford $97. And that moment changed on how I thought about targeting forever. Because the problem wasn't her, the problem was the messaging. We were broadcasting to every business owner without understanding that gross revenue and net revenue are 2 completely different things. A business can be doing $200,000 a year in revenue and have nothing left at the end of the month. The lights are on, the employees are paid, the inventory is stocked, and the business owner is personally broke. Gross revenue is what comes in in, net revenue is what's left. And for a lot of small business owners, what's left is not enough to invest in growth, let alone credit repair. So when I talk about the business owner avatar, I'm not talking about anyone with an LLC and anyone with a revenue number. I'm talking about specific business owners where the urgency is real, where their personal credit is the direct barrier between them and the capital their business needs to scale. And this is where I want to introduce something important. Not all business owner avatars are created equal. There is a tier of business owners that sits above a general market, a tier where the income is established, the need is specific, and the investment in fixing their personal credit has a direct and immediate return attached to it. Doctors who run their own practices, lawyers who run their own firm, general contractors who built their business from the ground up. These are higher tier avatars, and the reason they sit at the top is simple. They have the net income to invest in solving the problem. They have a specific capital need that is clearly defined, and their personal credit profile is the single variable standing between them and the funding their business needs to get to the next level. This isn't the florist trying to keep the lights on. This is not a general business owner who is cash strapped and contradicting themselves on every sales call. These are established professionals with real businesses, real revenue, and a real urgency to fix the one thing that is quietly capping their growth. Let me break down each one. The doctor who owns their own practice is trying to scale. Maybe they want to expand into a larger facility, hire more staff, add new services, take on more patients. To do any of that, they need capital. A business loan, a line of credit, SBA financing, some form of institutional funding that lets them grow without draining their operating cash. But when they go access that capital, the lender pulls their personal credit, and what they find is a profile that tells a very different story than the income this doctor is generating. Student loan debt that accumulated over a decade of medical school, personal credit cards that got maxed out during the early years of building the practice, accounts that went delinquent during residency when income was low and expenses were high. The income is there, the business is real, but the personal credit profile is the single variable blocking them from the funding their practice needs to get to the next level. Fix the personal credit, unlock the capital, that's the equation. The lawyer running their own firm is in the exact same position. They have a book of business, they have clients, they have revenue coming in consistently, but they want to scale the firm. Hire associates, expand the office, take larger cases that require more resources up front. All of that requires capital, and capital requires a personal credit profile that a lender is willing to approve. But the lawyer's personal credit is carrying years of financial decisions during the grind of building the firm from nothing. Late payments, high utilization from personally funding the business in early stages, accounts that took hits when cash flow was inconsistent. The firm is successful, but the personal credit does not reflect that success. And until it does, every funding application hits the same wall. Fix the personal credit, unlock the capital. Same equation, and the general contractor doing $2 million in annual revenue, this person is winning on paper. Big contracts, real revenue, a team behind them. But to take on bigger contracts, they need to front materials. They need equipment. They need financial capacity to carry a job for 60 to 90 days before the client even pays out. That requires a line of credit. That requires a business loan. That requires a lender who looks at their personal credit profile and sees someone they could trust with capital. And right now, that profile isn't there because the contractor spent years personally absorbing every financial hit the business took, every slow season, every client who paid late, every unexpected expense that had nowhere else to go but their personal credit. The revenue is real, the business is real, but the personal credit profile is the ceiling on how big this contractor could actually grow. Fix the personal credit, unlock the capital. Same equation every single time. Here's what all three of these higher tier avatars have in common. They're not coming to you because they want a better credit score for the sake of having a better credit score. They could care less. They are coming to you because of their personal credit is a specific barrier between where their business is right now and where they're going to try to take it. The outcome is defined, the timeline is real, and the value of fixing it is directly tied to the capital they unlock on the other side. That is a completely different conversation than someone who just generally wants a better credit someday. These clients don't price shop. They don't compare you to 5 other offers. They don't ask for a payment plan on a $97 product. They ask one question: can you actually fix this so I can get the funding I need? And when your answer is yes, and you can back that up, price is never the issue. Because they already know exactly what the capital on the other side is worth. That's the difference between marketing broadly and marketing with precision. The florist taught me that. The The third avatar is the general credit client, my least favorite. This person knows their credit is bad. They don't love the number. It bothers them when they think about it. Maybe they got denied for a car loan or an apartment or a store card. So they went looking for someone to help. But here's the honest truth. They don't have a specific destination for improvement. There's no property they're trying to close in 60 days. There's no business deal that's waiting on their credit score. There's no funding milestone they've mapped out. They want better credit generally someday for some version of a future they haven't fully built yet. That ambiguity is what keeps prices low. When there's no specific outcome with a timeline and a dollar value attached to it, when the client can't clearly articulate what better credit unlocks for them right now, price becomes the main variable in the decision. These clients also churn because their results don't connect to anything concrete in their life. The score goes up, nothing visibly changes, the excitement fades, the refund request comes. This isn't a bad person, it's just the wrong avatar for a premium service. Here's the comparison laid out clean. The general client wants better credit. The real estate investor and business owner needs better credit, and they need it by a specific date for a specific dollar amount attached to a specific goal that has a return on the other end of it. One is a desire, the other is a constraint blocking an outcome they've already decided to pursue. You cannot charge the same price for both. And here's the thing people in this space miss. The higher value client is often easier to close because they've already made a decision to move. They've already have skin in the game. They already understand what leverage costs and what it returns. They're not deciding about whether credit matters. They're deciding about whether you're the right person to help them fix it. The sales conversation is completely different. The trust requirement is completely different. The referral behavior is completely different. And the price you can charge for the same core service is completely different. I hear this all the time. Credit repair is saturated. Here's the reality. Every single person in the United States who has a social security number or an ITIN, that's a potential client. Millions of them. The majority don't even know their credit situation is fixable, let alone that business credit is a completely separate system available to them. The credit repair industry is not saturated. The generic credit repair market is crowded. There's a difference when you niche into real estate investors. You're no longer competing with generic credit repair companies. You're now the specialist who understands how credit functions inside of real estate deal structures. That's a complete lane. The competition is almost zero. When you niche down into small business owners, you understand their business credit gap, their funding roadmap, their EIN structure, their growth constraints. Again, it's a different lane. Most people in this space aren't having that conversation with specificity. The right niche doesn't shrink your market. It concentrates your authority inside of it. And concentrated authority justifies premium pricing always. Here's a shift I want you to make today. Stop thinking about who you can help. Start thinking about who has the most to gain from what you're offering and who already has the mindset to act on it. The real estate investor and the business owner who are not waiting to be convinced that credit matters. They already know. They're already in motion. They already have a destination. Your job is to show them that you understand their world well enough to be trusted with that destination. When you do that, you're not a credit repair specialist anymore. You're a financial operator, a deal enabler, a capital access architect, and that's a complete different pricing conversation. Inside CEO Launch, this is exactly what I teach: how to position your credit business for the right clients, how to build the right offer around a specific avatar, the full credit and funding system that lets you actually deliver at the level these clients need, including $150,000 funding roadmap, the business credit architecture, and the done-for-you credit repair framework that runs in the background. If you're building a credit business or trying to figure out how to finally charge what your work is actually worth, this is where the full system lives inside of CEO Launch. $97 a month, first 7 days completely free. Thank you guys for watching.